What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan President Lai Ching-te is wrapping up his 6-day trip of the Pacific in Palau, one of Taiwan's few official diplomatic allies and a big advocate of Taiwan on the world stage. Rick Glauer reports from Palau on the friendship giving Taiwan diplomacy a new direction.
The latest milestone in a blossoming friendship. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te welcomed by his counterpart on a state visit to Palau. It's Lai's last stop on a whirlwind diplomatic tour bolstering ties with Pacific Island nations. And he's here with a simple message.
With
a population of only 20,000, Palau is one of just 12 countries worldwide that has official diplomatic ties with Taipei. China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and objects to recognition of its sovereignty by a state visit like this. In rare defiance of Beijing, Palau's leader, Surangel Whips Jr., says his country has been punished by China for its friendship with Taiwan, weaponizing tourism and illegally sending vessels into its waters to pressure Palau to cut ties with Taipei in favor of Beijing.
We want you to come and we want us to win together. As we navigate the complexities of international relations, the threats to democracy, and the threats to our sovereignty, now more than ever, we must partner. We must stand strong together.
Palau wants to be less reliant on China, currently its largest source of tourists and investment. Lai's delegation includes business leaders and is expected to bring new sources of investment for the country in tourism and green technologies. He's also sharing his country's knowledge of so-called digital democracy. Palau's Capitol building was built with the help of a $20 million loan from Taiwan. Now Taiwan, a world leader in high technology, is going to help to digitalize its legislature with online voting and better online security. While promising to help countries like Palau modernize, on his week-long trip, Lai has also emphasized their commonalities, highlighting ancient migration routes that link indigenous Taiwanese to Pacific Islanders and cultural traditions that they still share.
So I think this connection is has been here for a while and is working and in a very different way, and also reshaping Taiwanese identity and reshaping Taiwanese political imagination. So there is a slowly transition from focusing on China, and then we're now focusing on the island nations.
Although there are thousands of nautical miles between their island nations, Lai describes Palau's leader as a brother. The message from this pair is that despite Beijing's political protestations, this relationship is both timely and time-honored. John Su and Rick Glauert in Palau for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's military has been conducting live-fire exercises focusing on using and combining different weapons. But with more weapons from the United States on the way, Jaime Ocon looks at whether Taiwan's military has the training it needs to use them effectively.
Taiwanese Army helicopters firing live ammunition at this mountainside in southern Pingtung County. The military here is conducting 2 days of exercises, focusing on defense through combined arms warfare. That means using a combination of different weapons and vehicles from different services to maximize firepower on a single point.
Keeping that ability of the different branches and troops in different parts of the battle space and different equipment to effectively coordinate is really difficult. It's essential for effective modern combat. So, the more practice you can have doing it, the better.
Taiwan is working to increase the frequency and complexity of its various military drills, pushing for more realistic combat training in the face of threats from neighboring China. Taiwan is reforming its training and has purchased over $20 billion worth of weapons from the US, its largest security partner. It's set to receive the first batch of 38 US-made Abrams tanks by the end of December. But some say the military will have a tough time using them in some of Taiwan's dense urban environments.
Those tanks are heavy and slow in terms of maneuver. Moreover, they will face a huge challenge due to Taiwan's terrain. The Taiwanese military will need to figure out how to use them smartly in order to maximize their functions and lower their shortcomings.
Taiwan is expected to receive an influx of U.S. systems after lengthy delays, and there are concerns about how effectively the military can integrate these weapons into its training. Some analysts in the U.S. say Taiwan should take advantage of the time between weapons deliveries to learn how to master these systems.
The fact that they're also coming in tranches means that you can have that time in between the tranches to learn how to get those theories of operations and sort of tactical level understanding of the equipment. It's really in the hands of MND and the services in Taiwan to, figure out the best way to use these. And there will be growing pain.
As Taiwan continues to adapt its military, new hardware should provide a much-needed boost to the country's defense. But without proper training and exercises, even the best weapons may prove ineffective. Andy Shui and Jaime Okan for TaiwanPlus.
The foundation that invited a group of Chinese students to Taiwan for cultural exchanges could be banned from bringing Chinese delegations to Taiwan for some time. It's in response to a controversial comment one of the students made about Taiwan's name while on the trip. Cadence Quaranta explains the recent breakdown in cross-strait communications.
Former President Ma Ying-jeou's foundation is defending itself after Taiwan's Chinese Affairs Office said it could be banned from bringing Chinese delegations to Taiwan for months or even years. This comes after the foundation invited 40 Chinese students, teachers, and athletes on a trip to Taiwan, which they say was to promote cross-strait communication. But while they were here, one of the students called Taiwan's national baseball team China Taipei, which sparked backlash in Taiwan because it denies China's claims that it's part of the mainland. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council said the comment may have violated government rules and accused the foundation of not handling it properly. The whole trip also faced criticism because almost all the students are affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party. But today, the foundation's CEO and several KMT legislators argued that this comment actually illustrates the need for more cross-strait communication, because they said that the student might not have even known that his comment could be hurtful to Taiwanese people, and that if these kinds of exchanges aren't allowed, cross-strait relations could get even worse. But the trip's effectiveness in promoting communication has also been controversial, with some of the students at the universities where the delegation visited telling me it didn't seem like the delegation was even interested in real communication. The Mainland Affairs Council says it will soon convene other government agencies to decide whether to punish the foundation over the China Taipei comment, which could include a ban on bringing Chinese delegations to Taiwan for anywhere from 6 months to 5 years. Eason Chen and Cadence Quaranta for TaiwanPlus.
The leader of South Korea's ruling party says that President Yoon Suk-yeol should be removed from office after revelations that Yoon intended to jail prominent politicians.
저는 어제 준비 없는 혼란으로 인한 국민과 지지자들의 피해를 막기 위해서 이번 탄핵에 대해서는 통과되지 않게 노력하겠다고 말씀드렸습니다만 새로이 드러나고 있는 사실 등을 감안할 때 대한민국과 국민을 지키기 위해서 윤석열 대통령의 조속한 직무 집행 정지가 필요하다고 판단합니다.
The sudden turn from the leader of the president's own party comes days after Yoon shocked the nation by declaring martial law before revoking it hours later. The party leader fell short of calling on his members to vote in favor of the opposition's impeachment bill. Opposition leaders have called Yoon's actions a rebellion, and prosecutors are deciding whether to charge him with insurrection. The Defense Ministry has also said it will not obey any further martial law orders. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has canceled a planned trip to South Korea after a botched martial law attempts there. Austin originally planned to visit both Japan and South Korea in his final visit to Asia before stepping down as Defense Secretary. But U.S. diplomats say the visit to Seoul was scrapped after President Yoon Suk-yeol's failed attempt to impose martial law on Tuesday. Talks on nuclear cooperation between the U.S. and South Korea have also been postponed. Paraguay has expelled a Chinese envoy for urging lawmakers to break off ties with Taiwan. Paraguay's foreign ministry says it canceled the visa of visiting envoy Xu Wei on the grounds that he interfered in internal affairs. He was given 24 hours to leave the country. Xu was part of a delegation for an annual UNESCO meeting, but he skipped that to meet lawmakers. He called on them to ditch Taiwan and bolster ties with China instead. Paraguay is one of just 12 countries in the world that recognize Taiwan. New data shows the price of vegetables and rents are surging in Taiwan compared to last year. November's consumer price index rose just over 2% year-on-year, with vegetable prices surging 19.43% after harvests were devastated by multiple typhoons. Rents also hit a historic high, rising more than 2.5%, the biggest jump in nearly 30 years, according to Taiwan's budget office. Officials say no relief for rent prices is in sight. Despite the large rises in certain categories, prices remain mostly stable overall. Government subsidies for rooftop solar panels on small properties are on the way. The nearly $126 million program is promising around $90 per kilowatt generated, with a maximum of around $9,000 per project. The subsidies, agreed by the cabinet, will apply to private properties with roofs smaller than 1,000 square meters. The government is also making rooftop solar panels mandatory for new buildings and renovations with roofs bigger than 1,000 square meters. The government's roof solar panel project is not the only way the country is pursuing green energy. Small-scale geothermal and hydropower projects are also helping Taiwan move towards its goal for carbon neutrality by 2050. John Van Trieste reports.
This natural whirlpool plays a tiny but important role in Taiwan's quest for green energy. Here, at a spot where the Annong Stream in Yilan County suddenly drops, technicians have built a mini hydroelectric plant capable of meeting the yearly power needs of 170 households. It requires no staff. The whole system is controlled remotely by computer. And while dry periods here in the northeast of the country mean it can't run year-round, its creators say it's an eco-friendly way of making some extra power for the grid.
可以做到跟生态跟环境融合在一起的，它是可以让鱼虾通过，然后可以用很小的面积就盖出一座发电量很高的电厂。
Taiwan aims to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, but political disagreements over the role of nuclear power make this goal challenging. Projects like this, while small, are at least helping make progress towards this goal. This isn't the only green energy opportunity this part of the country offers. Not far away is a geothermal plant built jointly by the national power and oil companies and opened just over a year ago. This plant can meet the annual needs of 1,200 households, and it has the advantage of running 24/7.
它不受天候的影响，那像我们的风机就会有风没风，它就会因风而发电。那以地热来讲，只要我们的热源够，它是可以24小时做运转。
Geothermal has its enthusiastic supporters in Taiwan, given the country's position along the Pacific Rim of Fire. But its exact potential is uncertain, and exploration to find out is costly and therefore risky.
你要花费很多的成本进去，可是你能够取得的电力不够大，那所以就会造成它整体的发电成本会上升。
But the government hopes that by bearing at least some of the cost, any potential out there won't go to waste.
没有真正的去钻井、去探勘，我们就不知道它的潜能有多少。那这也造成过去地热开发的风险在国内是比较高，就是在探勘方面，政府会给予补助，最高是可以到达1亿元的补助。
Though not all of Taiwan's green energy projects are large, officials hope that every bit will count on the way to an emissions-free future. Devin Tsai and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Now, before we go, come with us to London for the Electric Dreams exhibition at the Tate Modern Gallery. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.